Hey YouTube, Robbie coming to you guys here with a deck profile for Edison format. As you can see in the description below or above, wherever you're looking, this is Glad Beasts, this is Tigerless. So, I thought I'd bring a little bit of a different approach to the deck, and I'll go into my deck now here. So we have Bestiary, 2 Laquari, 2 Quests, 1 Darius, 1 Romello, 2 Retiari, and Secutor. And that's it for the Glad Beast count. So, low Glad Beast count. I mean, this deck's really a big toolbox, and I wanted to keep the monster count pretty low. Then we've got 1 Hedge Guard. It's Wabaku in hand, which is pretty nice. 1 Gale, and Gores just in case. I felt like the Gale was just a good out to Stardust, and it makes Stardusts just easy, and it gives you a little bit of like extra deck flexibility. Yep, so that's the monster count, pretty small. Spell count, a little higher than most normal Glad Beasts build, but we'll get into it. 1 Shrink, double Chalice, 1 Econ, triple Book. So you have a lot of utility here between all 7 of these spell cards. I mean, Book obviously only has 1 capability of what it does, but it helps you play around Bottomless. Econ switches things to the defense and just makes it easy. Shrink is Shrink, it just lets you push through something. And Chalice is just really for how like incredibly popular Raikou is in this format. So you can kind of swing into a monster with a Glad Beast and not care, and then Chalice it in damage step to get rid of the Raikou. Yeah, so those are like the utility weird spells. We've got Heavy, Space, and 1 Proving Ground. Yeah, Proving Ground's kind of obvious. It just gets stuff. But between these two, we don't have Cold Wave because we're not trying to do a big Prisma play. But I felt like this for back row hate was a lot. So I didn't want to make too much of a change to not have this much. Traps done on a discard trap is really strong. I like it a lot. So that's the spell count, kind of higher than normal. And then the trap count, yeah, you already saw the 2 traps done and 2 Dust Tornado. Both these cards are really good. I wanted to have a 3rd Dust Tornado in the main, but I felt like where I was at with traps, it was going a little overboard, and I just wanted to like diversify it a little bit more. 1 Road, 2 Wabaku, 1 Mirror Force, 2 Bottomless, 3 D-Prison, 1 Compulse, 2 War Chariot, Dust Shoot, Solemn, and 1 main deck Icarus. With the Gale, that gives you 4 targets that are at least somewhat viable. This could be cut. I've had a lot of other options for the deck as well. I also had a 2nd Icarus at one point. But I felt like this was just fine as it was. I had other cards that I wanted to try, like I think Ceasefire could be an interesting tech card, or Swords of Revealing Light could be an interesting tech card in the deck, just because it flips up stuff and you don't have to worry about flip effect monsters at all. Swords would probably be the better choice of the 2 between Ceasefire and it, just because then your opponent can't attack you while you're just trying to like build up a Gazaris play. And then I had Call the Haunted in, but I felt like without the Prisma build, Call was kind of weaker in the deck, even though you could still play it anyway. And then Torrential, I felt like wasn't necessarily needed because you're trying to keep your Glad Beasts on the field, but at the same time, like, it is Torrential. It's probably side deck material versus some of the other cards, but yeah. And then I had 2 Cyber Dragons in here as well, but I also cut those for the sideboard instead. Extra deck, just triple of both of them, double of him. And then playing the Gale does give us kind of like synchro options. So we've got 3 6s. This could be Flamebow or Koya's as well. It doesn't really matter which of the 2. As long as you have a Piercer, that's all that matters. Him being Wing Beast makes it a little better for Icarus. Then 7s, we have these 3, and then the 1 Stardust for Road. You can also use Black Rose's other effects because you have Hedge Guard as a plant. So you could switch something to attack mode, and it just forces the 0 and no flip effect. So that's an interesting idea, but not great. But you always look for those things that can come up in a deck. I think the key difference between this deck and the Cat Tiger build is the Cat Tiger build plays into oppression a lot harder than this build. You don't have to tag out a lot of the time with this, and oppression just kind of eats you alive. Being able to play a lot of the other tech cards, like if you're not playing the Cat Prisma build, I mean Prisma, Sam Knight, Cat, 6 Test Tiger, 3 Test Tigers. That's 6 cards alone that, like, Prisma doesn't do anything without a Test Tiger. Test Tiger can be a dead draw without, like, any other Glad Beasts. You're playing into oppression harder if they flip oppression in response to Test Tiger, and you just -2. It's not great, honestly. You don't get quite the big payoffs as Kazaris in this build in comparison, but it's worth looking into trying to play Glad Beasts without all the other shenanigans. I think the other build with Test Ape and a hero emerges or a hero lives or whatever, the trap card is a really cool idea too. That gets you like a lot of value out of nothing. I mean, it's not the best hand, but it's not the worst hand. That being said, I think this deck is a lot stronger than a lot of people kind of give it discredit for. Glad Beast as a whole, not just this build, but I think it being able to, like, just, it plays all the good trap cards. It can have a pretty decent frog matchup. It's just the Blackwing matchup, so it's kind of rough. Or like when it draws like this, like 4 monsters, even when I'm playing 14 monsters in my deck. Yeah. That being said though, guys, I am excited for Nats, and I'll have another video up this week before Nats. So catch you guys later. Peace.